right. This is her from the CowBROS, and this is a NFL, the CowBROS NFL show. What a fucking week. What a weekend of good-ass football games.
Crazy good weekend.
The Cowboys-Patriots was the highest-rated game since 2007. 49ers and Packers. And then you had the massacre in fucking L.A., bro.
Oof,
like, they should rename that the L.A. riot, bro. No disrespect to the people who were affected by the original LA riots, but what the fuck happened in LA this past Monday with Lamar Jackson and but before we really do that, let's go ahead and introduce everybody on this episode. You have myself, Big Herb. Who else I got in the building with me?
You got your boy RodMan ready to talk some football.
And you got Solomon saying, hey, what's up to all the homies and shalomies?
All right, as you can see, we got the usual suspects in the building for this episode. So let's get right into it. You know what I'm saying? This is supposed to be a preview show that is a new format. However, when there's football that's interesting that just happened, we got to talk about that too. So like I was talking about probably a minute ago, I was talking about the LA riot, the Los Angeles massacre. Let's get into that game. Monday Night Football, ESPN, Lamar Jackson was so dominant that he had the home team chanting MVP, MVP. He does not wear fucking yellow and blue. He is not a Los Angeles Ram. The Rams fans were saying MVP, MVP. So, your thoughts on that game, bro?
It was funny because when we talked about the game. Oh, whoops! I had the game on. When we talked about the game on the last podcast, like I remember we kind of brushed it off, right? We were kind of just like, oh, we kind of know what's gonna happen. But man, Lamar Jackson, bro, we talked about Russell being the MVP, but we're starting to look kind of bad. Thank God it was the post mid-season.
Thank God it was the post mid-season because we look ridiculous right now. We look so bad, bro. It's getting to the point. Not to get too off topic. I just feel bad for Russell Wilson because he always ends up falling short, dog. I really wanted him to get an MVP this year, but I'm not gonna give him a pity vote. Nah, fuck that. He better ball the fuck out and try to earn that shit because right now he's not the MVP no more. But go on.
Imagine Drew Brees in the era of Peyton and Brady never won an MVP. So you gotta fucking go out and get it, and that's what Lamar's doing right now, bro. This man had as many touchdowns as he had incompletions last night. He only threw for 169 yards, but he rushed for 95 yards and only 8 attempts. 5 touchdown passes. Completely just, bro, the Rams had no answer for him. They had no answer for Mark Ingram. The Ravens rushing attack has been so dominant, bro. They are just bulldozing teams. That offensive line. The running backs, Lamar is always shaking a nigga out of his shoes every game.
To speak into how dominant the rushing game for the Ravens is right now, heading into that game, the Rams were only allowing 89 rushing yards a game. They were the 4th ranked rush defense in the entire league. The Ravens had 92 rushing yards in the first quarter. That's dominance.
Bro, it's ridiculous.
That's dominance, but go on, bro.
Speaking of dominance, Aaron Donald was a 2 or 3 time MVP, a defensive lineman, had no tackles.
Yeah.
That shit is fucking crazy.
No, the O-line is legitimately good, and they're whipping everybody's ass on the opposite side of the fucking trenches right now, dog. Like, you are not going to overpower them. You are not going to push them back. They are going to push you forward. They're going to create rushing lanes. And because Lamar Jackson is so dynamic as a running back, because, I mean, he's a running back. Like, he's a quarterback and a running back. He's so dynamic that, and people are so afraid of him. Look at this. This is not rookie defensive coordinators. His team dominated the Patriots as Bill Belichick. His team dominated the Rams. That's Wade Phillips. He forces you into only 2 or 3 coverages. because you have to honor him.
You have to account for the guy.
You have to account for them.
You can't just leave him to do whatever the fuck he wants. Bro, like we talked about pre-show, the dude is like, he's like Michael Vick on the old Madden games. Like, you remember how back in the days niggas would spread like go 4 or 5 wide and then you could run. Like, he's a video game character right now.
Bro, remember that commercial when Michael Vick was with the Falcons and, they put the little virtual reality thing on
the Michael Vick experience.
Michael Vick experience. That is Lamar Jackson.
It is a Lamar Jackson experience because to people who don't, who have a vague understanding of defense versus offense, right? You got to think about it. The quarterback is essentially a non-factor because he's not going to go nowhere. So even if he's throwing the ball, it's most of the time it's 10 on 11. It's not 10 on 11 anymore. It's 11 on 11. And for all these defensive coordinators, all these defensive players who, since the time they were in Pee Wee, have been playing 11 on 10, you usually have an extra defender. You have an extra advantage on defense. You cannot have an extra advantage on defense now because you have to account for him on 2 different fronts. They have 2 running backs on the field at all times. They have a quarterback and a running back who is also a running back at the field at all times. So it's very hard to game plan for that because you have to spy for that. And because the running game is so dominant, you have to keep linebackers out there. But since you got to keep linebackers out there, you have to account. You can't bring your safeties up because you have Hollywood Brown on the outside. So if you bring somebody up, he's gonna just throw it over your head, a la what he did against the Dolphins, dog. So it's so hard to game plan for this team, bro. Which is why they're curb stomping everybody.
You got to imagine, bro, they're the number 1 offense in points scored, and they're the number 1 rushing offense averaging. These niggas are averaging 210 yards a game, bro. That's like passing numbers, bro. Imagine there are quarterbacks that average that as passers, and as a team, they're averaging 210 yards, nigga, per game.
That's absurd. But I have no words. It's hard because I have a lot of people trying to say, what is Lamar Jackson? Who is Lamar Jackson? You don't need to try to figure out. You don't need to put him in a box. He is a once-in-a-lifetime talent at a very important position. And he's playing the game in a way where it's hard to really get a handle of it. Because he's so quick, he's so fast, he's so elusive. Cam Newton was a running quarterback. He presented a lot of the same problems, but Cam Newton wasn't as fast. Cam Newton, it would have to be.
He wasn't this slippery.
He wasn't this slippery.
Like this.
He was huge and he was a goal line monster.
Yeah, Cam Newton's a lot bigger, so you're not gonna take him down with an arm tackle. You got to get like a whole on like leaping like tiger trying to take down a gazelle thing going on.
And here's the thing though. He's playing that running dual threat quarterback at a higher level than Cam ever played it. Even as Cam was an MVP in 2015, this dude already has 2 games with a perfect passer rating, and he has 3 near 100 QBR games in the same season. That hasn't been done by anybody all year. Like going back the past 2 seasons, they were that high QBR games. He has 3 of them in the same season. So he is doing it at another level right now.
And you got to imagine, and he has the numbers to boot. He has the 24 touchdowns to 5 picks. Great. That's elite numbers. He has a 67 damn near completion percentage. That's a great completion. Like this nigga, his passing numbers are great. And he's going to break the record for fucking rushing yards for a quarterback.
That's also crazy. He's just a complete player at that position. And defensive coordinators haven't caught up to figuring out how to stop it. I do want to briefly touch on the Rams, though. What a fucking disaster these guys are now, bro.
Do you know that Jared Goff, it's basically been a month since he's thrown a touchdown pass?
He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in 16 quarters, bro.
It's been a month, 4 games, bro.
It's been 4 games. He has not thrown a touch. Listen, people
11 TDs, 12 picks on the season.
That is $110 guaranteed $1 million man. That is the worst $110 million spent that I could even think of right now, bro, in the world. you can't buy a house for $110 million that, okay, so.
Bro, let me ask you something real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you think right now the Rams are regretting the decision?
Nigga.
They
Rod,
absolutely
you've
have
never
to be,
asked me
dude.
more of an obvious. Bruh, you could have asked me, do you really think my name is Herbie? And that wouldn't have been as much obvious as that question.
The reason why I ask is it's like you invest. It's like because of what they've already seen from this nigga, because of what they've already invested. Do you think are the blinders off yet? That's why.
No, I get what you're saying because they invested so much in him. And basically what Rod is saying, they've invested so much in him that they are going to give him every single chance to justify their decision of giving him $110 million guaranteed.
And I'd like to just point out the Bears quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky, doesn't even make anywhere near that amount of money as Jared Goff's contract, but they still have the blinders on with him. So, I mean, I can see, like, my point being, I can see having the blinders on for Jared Goff. We spend 110 on this guy.
No. Rod is 100%.
But yes, Rod is 100% right. Or 110% right.
No. Now that I understand the context of the question, you are 100% right to ask that. He's so bad, basically, that a team and a GM and a coaching staff who's seen him go to a Pro Bowl, seen him go to a Super Bowl. He's been so bad this year that they have to have the thought of like, oh, we regret it. Because he's been that bad. Under any other circumstance, they wouldn't even think about it because they've seen what he's accomplished. He'd be like, okay, he's just having a bad year. He's so bad because they knew what he was all along. And now his homeboy can't save him no more, dog.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I remember on the last podcast, and we've mentioned this in prior podcasts, we talk about how teams have started changing up the plays when the play clock gets to 15 seconds because that's when it cuts out.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of communication issues when you're watching the game. You see that the first time out Sean McVay called in the first half, he was pissed. He was just like, yo, Jared, like, come on, we've done this in practice, my nigga. Like you could see the frustration in Sean McVay's face. Like you could see like Jared Goff is scrambling to make calls at the line of scrimmage because this nigga don't know what he's looking at.
He does not. It's a child playing the quarterback position, bro.
I mean, you get Stevie Wonder out there, he'll make a better adjustment, you know? At this point, that's honestly how I feel.
No, honestly, so to basically break down to what's going on with Jared Goff right now. Basically, he was never able to read coverage a day in his fucking life. Sean McVay just made it so unbelievably easy for him that it was giving candy to a baby. Now you got to give fucking broccoli to a 2-year-old, dog. And you see how it's going. It's a disaster, bro. Like
it's awful.
That it proves that it took a genius like Sean McVay to make the game easy or make the game understandable for Jared Goff. Because when Jared Goff was under Jeff Fisher, who was not offensively literate, it was one of the worst rookie seasons you'll ever see in your life.
It was terrible.
So he needs that much work. But to get off of that game, because we are kind of up against the time, let's talk about the Sunday night game though, because that was. I don't want to toot my own horn because as much as as much as the stuff that I said in the preview up to the game actually played out, I still didn't see that. I still did not see that.
Complete and utter domination of the fucking Packers with Aaron Rodgers healthy at the helm.
Yeah, I did want to touch on that. I know last week I said I was giving it to the Packers, but I mean, I thought the game was going to be a hell of a lot closer than that. But holy crap, man, I was not expecting that.
You were not wrong for giving it to the Packers. It's Aaron Rodgers. Like my only thing was the stats just were screaming to me, the Packers are not going to win this game. The Packers are not as good as we think they are. If you really do a lineup with the 2018 Packers and the 2019 Packers, all the numbers are the same. Just the only thing is their ranking is different, and they have more playmakers. But yards per attempt, 6.6, 2018, 6.6, 2019. That's the yards per attempt. That's what teams are passing on them. Rushing yards per attempt. In 2018, it was 4.3. In 2019, it's 4.8.
It's worse.
Total first downs. 2018, they gave up 199 total first downs as a defense. They're on pace for 193. It's scary how similar this defense is. It's very scary. The only thing is that they do have more playmakers on the defensive line. The Smith brothers both have 10 sacks, and that hasn't been done for the fucking Packers and God knows how long. And they're getting more picks. But besides that, the defense is the same. They're like I said on the last pod, they're bottom 20 in everything that has to do with rushing defense. And you got probably one of the greatest offensive minds as far as designing run plays. What did you think was going to happen? What I thought, though, was Jimmy G was going to give the ball back to make it an even game. He played a clean game, and you see what a clean game from Jimmy G mixed with that defensive line, mixed with that running game will get you. You get a curb stomping of Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to make a list. Oh, I'm so hurt.
And you know what? The one thing is, too, the Packers have been known for one of the better offensive lines in football. And granted, their offensive line's getting kind of old now. Like, they got their asses whooped, bro. Like, they could not handle those young, energetic, big, ferocious bodies. They couldn't handle Nicky Bosa. They couldn't handle Buckner. They couldn't handle them niggas, bro. See, and it all makes for Aaron Rodgers passing for 104 fucking yards.
Whoa. Say that one more time for the people in the back, Rod. How much did Aaron Rodgers pass for? Hey, Josh, this is for you. Josh, the quote unquote, we're Packer haters on the CowBROS podcast. Say it one more time, sir.
Aaron Rodgers threw for a total of 104 passing yards.
We'll elaborate on that a little further towards the end of the show. I guarantee that.
Of course, man. Of course.
But to give credit to that D-line, this is the 8th straight game where they've had 3 sacks. That's crazy, dude. The 49ers are only allowing 136 passing yards per game this season.
Number 1 in the league.
That would be the fewest by any team since the 82 Dolphins, which led the league with 114. So you got to account for inflation.
Yeah.
They're only giving up 20 more yards than a team. How long is that? 50 years ago or some shit like that? God knows.
God damn, it's a long time
That's
ago.
a long
right?
time ago, right?
Like 40 years ago.
40 years ago, damn near,
like
bro.
that.
Yeah.
Just about.
Like that. So if you account for inflation, that would be like, wow, we were off. God, I'm bad.
Pretty close though.
Yeah, that's why I flunked out of college real quick. Math is not my strong suit. Wow. But yeah, if you adjust it for inflation, that's like 60 yards a 60 yards passing game in fucking 1982, bro. Like they're that dominant, dog. And this is the most telling sign that this was going to be a dominant performance. The Packers gave up a rushing touchdown in every fucking game this year, bro. Damn near every game. Their last 10 games, they gave up a rushing touchdown. You can rush the ball on this team, dog. They're not, it's all hocus pocus, smoke and mirrors, bro.
And then it was, to their misfortune, they was going up against, we talked about the number 1 rushing team in football. You want to know who number 2 is? The fucking 49ers. Rushing for 145 yards per game, which is pretty fucking good. You know what I'm saying? With a bunch of niggas that, like, what high profile running back do they have?
None.
Matt Breida, Tevin Coleman. Like, shout out to Kyle Shanahan, man. Like, the Shanahan family, bro. I feel like they can make me ball, bro. I could get 80 yards a game with them niggas, man. For real. But I gotta say, man, it's very rare you watch a game where Aaron Rodgers and the whole team is done by like 9 minutes into the, like, that game was over in the first quarter, bro.
Nah, it was done. It gave more credence to the game that the Packers had against the Chargers. That wasn't a fluke. That wasn't a football. That wasn't just a football game. Like,
Right.
you know,
Like an any given Sunday game.
yeah, that was not that. That was
a telling sign.
That was a bunch of telling signs of that game, and because it's the Packers and because it's Aaron Rodgers, we didn't really appreciate the flaws that were exposed in that game. And another thing, before we go on to the next game, which I wish we could just skip. If y'all want to skip, let's hands up.
We ain't skipping
Come
shit.
on, bro. Come on, bro.
We got to talk about it. It's rare that I want to talk about a Patriots win, but we're going to talk about that.
Fine, bro. Fine. But the one point which I thought was, which I did bring up and a lot of people didn't bring up, I didn't see anybody bring this up. Kyle Shanahan is Matt LaFleur's big homie. It's the same reason why John Harbaugh beat the shit out of Jim Harbaugh in the Super Bowl, bro. I know everything that you're going to do. I taught you. Like,
he schooled the fuck out that nigga.
I taught you everything you know, not everything I know. And that played out unbelievably. It's as if he knew his whole game plan, Matt LaFleur. It's like Kyle Shanahan knew his entire game plan and how he was going to install everything and what order the plays were going to be run, bro.
That's actually, I didn't even think about that. That actually puts that game in a better perspective for me, bro. I totally forgot about that connection between those two niggas.
No, and it really showed, bro. It was like, I know Matt. I know how he wants to attack. I know where he wants to go. I know what side of the field he wants to do. I know the flow of offense that he wants to do. I know that he's going to use this play to set up a play 3 or 4 plays down the road.
All his tendencies, all his habits. Yeah.
All of that. I taught you that, boy. That's for me.
He straight hit him with the crossover, hit him with the step over Ty Lue style, Kobe over Ty Lue style. Damn.
All right, and there was one more important game that we do have to recap before we get on with the actual show. I don't want to talk about this, so Saul, you can handle this, bro. I'm out.
I mean, what makes you think I want to talk about this? But I understand. I'll take the heat off you. What a pathetic fucking game. Where should I start?
How about you don't start? We don't have to do this.
I mean,
we don't have to.
we can't just talk shit and then not talk about.
Why not? It's our podcast. Why can't we do that?
Because I ain't gonna let it happen.
Oh, come on, Rod. You was a cowboy last week.
You know
bro.
what?
What happened?
I was a cowboy. You know what, Herb? And y'all let me down. Y'all let me down.
You jinxed us. You fucking jinxed us.
Nigga, I didn't jinx shit. All right. I put my faith in the boys. You know, you guys were coming off a big win. Come on.
You know what, Herb? It's so telling. These one-time bandwagon fans, I'm so fucking sick of you guys, man.
Now, listen, I just want to ask y'all boys an honest question. We don't even have to go that deep into the game because what's there to fucking talk about? It was what, 13-9 game?
It was off. It was unbelievably bad, bro.
But I do want to ask you guys a question about the Cowboys. And shout out to my boy Chris. You know what I'm saying? I can't shout out the Giants. I am going to shout out the Giants for you, Chris, because you sent me this. So in regards to you, I'm going to ask this question to these niggas, man. What you going to do about the Cowboys being 0-4 against teams above 500? Why do y'all score 16.8 points a game against those teams? Why is y'all third down percentage 36%?
That's cold,
against those
man. That's
teams?
Cold, man.
Why is y'all turnover differential -7 against those teams, Herb? I need an explanation.
Dog, there's no... Honestly, bro, like, the hardest thing that I had to do in my life, bro, it's not going to class. It's not doing a 2,000 paper essay that I forgot to do and I got to whip it out of my ass in 3 days. I've done a lot of hard things. I've done hard labor. I've done really back-breaking things in my life. I've done hard work. The hardest job in my life, though, is to proving to Gerson that Dak Prescott is good when it fucking matters, bro. And this season is giving me the exact fucking opposite of that, bro. It's the hardest thing that I have to do, bro. And games like that don't make it any easier on me, bro. That's why I don't want to talk about this, dog. So it's all, bro.
Bro, I feel you, man. I understand. And it's crazy because Dak is having his best year as a passer.
He is.
But, he went up against,
No. And sorry to cut you off, but at the end of the day, if Dak is who I think he is, and I do think he is this person, you have to show up. You have to win one of those games, bro. You have to beat a Teddy Bridgewater-led Saints, bruh. You have to say, fuck what my dumbass coach is running on 4th down against the Vikings, dog. I'm going to check out of this stupid shit because he's a fucking idiot.
Save your coach from himself.
Yeah, you feel me? And sometimes you just got to make an easier throw in the fucking rain to Amari Cooper so he doesn't have to die for it, dog. That just comes with the territory, bro. Like, I know what he is. This is the best passing Dak Prescott I've ever seen, and I do think there's a lot of room for improvement. I believe in his intangibles. I believe in the team that they really rock with him. But you're about to make $40 million a year, bruh. You're gonna lose a lot of these players, dog. So it's only gonna get harder. You're gonna have to be what Russell Wilson is to the Seahawks, to just hang it on a fucking thread of whatever collage that they put together and just say, fuck it, I'm this good and I'm gonna make it happen regardless.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Herb. It's ridiculous. I mean, I know last week we were talking about how Dak Prescott, it's his year this year. Last year it was Zeke's year. This year it's Dak's. But it's like Jason. It's like you were saying before we started the podcast, Herb. It's like Jason Garrett had one specific game plan that he was going to stick with. Oh, it's raining and cold. You know what? Don't practice with a wet football. Don't practice with any gloves. You know what? This seems like a game where Zeke might take over. Fuck that. He's a shitty running back anyways. Like,
we gave Zeke 15 attempts in the first half. It is 6 all second half in a game where it was pouring rain. Why? It's just, there's things and then there's just stuff that you can't even quantify. The amount of stupidity that would lead you to think that's a good idea to not. In a close game, we were not getting blown out. It was 9-13. Yeah. Like, we could have kept running the ball, bro.
And another point too, and this isn't really like a Cowboys exclusive thing. I just don't understand. I just, for the life of me, I don't understand why teams always shoot themselves in the foot against New England. And this is the worst, undoubtedly the worst version of their offense we have seen in a long time. Maybe since he came back from his injury. And come on, dog. Yeah, if you think about it, the Patriots scored 10 points on a blocked, was it a block punt? It was a block punt. And then fucking Dak threw that pick, although it was kind of, he shouldn't have thrown that ball, honestly, but, you know, because the exchange was bad, right? It was a high snap. He didn't really have time to like really look at the defense. He kind of took his eyes off the defense for a little bit, tried to wheel it into Amari and Stephen Gilmore, you know, my MVP pick post midseason for Defensive Player of the Year, caught that pick. Nice pick, honestly. But nah, man. Y'all could have taken that game, bro. I was watching that game, believing in y'all to the end, bro, because I thought y'all could have taken it. This is a New England team that should, I don't even want to say they can be had because no one can do it besides Lamar Jackson.
The most feverish Cowboy fan amongst us is Ivan. Unfortunately, he couldn't make this episode, but he gave me a list of shit that he wanted to fucking get off his chest. And boy, is it a paragraph. It is a essay, dog. And this is Ivan speaking to the people that's listening. 2 Gallup drops. Cobb dropping a fumble. Amari Cooper fucking sucks. 2 passes deep to Jason Witten. Why is Jason Witten trying to catch any balls, bro? That's the Jason Garrett special, man.
If it's not a 3rd and 2, why are we passing it to him?
I don't even know where to go after that game because I feel conflicted, bro, because on one hand, I need Jason Garrett out of here. But that requires us to lose. You feel me? So, and then on the other hand, I don't want to lose this division race because it'll be an embarrassment because the division is that bad.
Bro, honestly, imagine the AFC East is, I want to say, usually the weakest division. Y'all are weaker. Your division is weaker as a whole this year.
Let me tell you about my division, bro. My division is so bad that I got a quarterback taking selfies with the Redskins before the fucking game is done, bro. That's what kind of division I'm in right now. That's kind of monkey shit is going on right now.
Let me
bro.
add on to that. Let me add on to what Herb said. Let me tell you about my division, Rod. We have a starting quarterback in New York that has the most turnovers on any team.
Eli Jr.
This dude has more turnovers than teams do, bro.
Eli
Daniel
Jr.
Jones that we're referencing. He has more turnovers than teams, bro.
And then the only team that can threaten y'all is just having a complete collapse this year, bro. Like the Eagles are just, it's comically bad how much these niggas are just completely collapsing this year, dog. It's like Nick Foles left and then they lost their powers.
It's like, over there they call it the Eagle's nest, but it's more like a pigeon coop because this team, the Eagles, have just been pushing, with birds, they push their young out to make them fly. They just pushed all of their talent and they're all just injured. And it's, I mean, obviously I don't wish injuries on any players, but it's fucking hilarious.
It's pretty funny, dude. Like, and because they're so bad, the world gets to see what I've been seeing my entire life, bruh. Carson Wentz is a fucking head case. That guy sucks,
bro. 4 turnover I'm not gonna lie. I tried to watch that Seahawks Eagles game because Red Zone was acting up for me, and that shit put me to sleep, bro. But every time I woke up, it was a turnover, bro. Oh, another pick. Oh, he fumbled. It was just like, damn, Carson, you're just completely melting down right now, bro. And you niggas are home, bro. Like, bro, honestly, Philly fans, this is my advice for y'all. Just sacrifice the nigga. Y'all are horrible anyway. Just sacrifice him and maybe Nick Foles will come back. And y'all can make another fucking magical run because it just doesn't look like Carson Wentz can be the driver, bro.
This is what I'm going to do, all right? I'm going to drive to Jacksonville and holler at Shad Khan, who is the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm going to plead with him to do whatever it takes to keep Nick Foles on the team. I don't ever want Nick Foles back at the Eagles again. I'm straight on that because that's the only place that he's good, and it doesn't make any sense.
That shit is retarded, bro. This nigga, when Nick Foles is on the Eagles, I don't want to say he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but
he damn near, bro.
He's pretty close. But when this nigga's anywhere else, he's fucking, I don't know, he's fucking Cleo Lemon, nigga. Like, what the fuck is up with this?
And the crazy part is just that whole fucking MVP season for Carson Wentz. He was great. He made a lot of great plays.
Bro, he was 33 touchdowns, 7 picks before he went down. He was on a roll.
Yeah, but the thing is that his backup won the fucking Super Bowl. That's how loaded it was, bro. And so now that he has to be elite, you realize he's nothing. He is fucking nothing. He's averaging. This is his yearly average. 5.7 yards per attempt. That's like bottom 25 in the league. Like he's literally one of the least efficient, high volume passers in the world, bro. He doesn't have a bunch of passing yards. He dink and dunks like crazy. People thought Dak fucking dunked and dink and dunked. No, buddy. Go look at Carson Wentz, bro. He throws one bomb or, it has one crazy throw against the fucking Falcons and, oh, look at the talent. What talent, nigga? He's throwing 10 bubble screens a day, bro. A fucking quarter, bro. The fuck out of here.
Man, I'll tell you what, though, to get back on the topic of the division, it's literally you guys' division to lose, bro. You guys almost have a free ride to the playoffs in my eyes.
Yeah, so to bring it all back, this was definitely a game where we could have gotten Zeke and Tony Pollard just in a grinder kind of game and just, set up the play action once every couple of drives, and we couldn't commit. Or we couldn't make the adjustment. And then to top it all off, the stupid fucking phantom tripping penalty that came in. We need to get, refs have been fucking up all season long, bro. We can't.
No, 5 all year. There's 7 now. There's 7 now, 5 all year. Out of all the games that they've been playing, in all the games, that's 11 games a week. We had 2 in the same game.
I mean, regardless of those penalties, I still don't think we would have.
We
would have won. We need to get these part-time refs out of here. But yeah, it was just a disappointing loss, and then we get a short week, and we have to play the Bills.
And before we move on, because I do want to have a good topic that actually ties into this really well, I will never be that fan. I don't give a fuck how bad, unless it's egregious, bro. If you are that team, the ref shouldn't matter in the game, bro. Like, if you're that team, the ref shouldn't matter. You're gonna. We would have lost that game regardless, bro.
Unless you're the Saints, bro.
Unless you're the Saints,
they get fucked, bro. Like regularly.
Yeah, 100%. Now, speaking of all these recent quarterbacks, dude, and all the love that Lamar Jackson is getting, and this is gonna take us to talk about the Dolphins and your draft prospects and the horizon on what the 2020 draft has to offer you guys. I went and did some research, man, and it's crazy how much the team you get drafted to just could be the difference on what your career is, dog. Because I went back and I looked at the 2017 draft and the rankings for how all the draft experts had the rankings and stuff like that. You feel me? Like, I see a lot of people. Oh, go ahead, Saul.
The quote unquote experts.
Quote unquote experts. And I just see all these people want to bash because it's the easy thing to do now. You have hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. Everybody wants to bash the fucking Bears for taking Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. First of all, nobody knew about Patrick Mahomes.
That's number one, bro. Nobody
knew about Patrick Mahomes. Nobody besides Andy Reid gets to gloat about fucking Patrick Mahomes. He's the only fucking person. I don't want to hear that from anybody. Number 2, you think the Bears are crazy for drafting Mitch Trubisky over Deshaun Watson? Well, I don't know why Lance Zierlein from NFL Network had Mitch Trubisky as his number 1 quarterback. Gil Brandt from NFL Network had Mitch Trubisky for his number 1 quarterback. Mike Mayock, who is the GM for the Raiders, had Deshaun Kaiser as his number 1 quarterback in 2017, bro.
Deshaun Kaiser. Is he still in the league, bro?
He's not even in the league anymore, bro. So as crazy as it sounds, we have to think back to what the conversation was back then when these guys are getting drafted. You know what I'm saying? Like Mel Kiper. I know everybody know who Mel Kiper is. Nigga had Mitch, Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was his 3rd rank. He didn't even have Deshaun Watson with a 1st-round grade. He had Mitch number 1. Todd McShay, Mitch number 1. That's 5 people that had Mitch Trubisky as their number 1 quarterback. So how crazy were the Bears? It just looks impossibly bad because when you miss on Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson does what he does after he won a national championship, it just gets exemplified, dog.
And to further boost your point, those are 5 quote unquote experts that spend 10, 14 hours of their day just purely watching football. They sit down with a drink and whatever, with snacks, and they just watch this. And they said a kid that had 13 collegiate starts was better than a kid who went to the national championship
2 years in a row. That's 5 people. The only people that I have that when I was doing my research, Daniel Jeremiah had Deshaun Watson number 1, Bucky Brooks had Deshaun Watson number 1. But
bro, I watched Mitch Trubisky in ACC, bro. He was not it, bro. I knew from the jump.
I'm telling you.
I knew from the jump he was not it.
And this is someone.
Say that now, Rod.
No, but trust me, I knew he was not it. Trust me,
Bruh, that's the crazy part, dog. Like, I'll give another example. You went to FSU. I lived in Tallahassee with you. We went to Florida State games when E.J. Manuel was
and
there.
Christian Ponder.
When we were like, we don't have any fucking bona fides in this, and we thought the idea that these guys were 1st-round picks were crazy.
Bro, when E.J. Manuel got drafted, bro, I couldn't believe it, bro.
Flabbergasted.
I was like, bro, what what is the Bills coaching staff seeing that I'm not seeing,
You
bro?
saw it in person.
Yeah.
So the idea that we could just bash and we could, because we have all these people like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I see a lot of the people doing it with Lamar Jackson. Matter of fact, let me hold it on because I had to get this point out. Rod, when Christian Ponder got drafted, what did I tell you? I told you that the only way Christian Ponder became a first-round pick is that because the owner of the Vikings secretly grew up a Bears fan, and his life mission was to make enough money to buy the Vikings so he could destroy the Vikings from the inside. Because that's the only thing that makes sense, drafting Christian Ponder with your first-round pick.
Bro. At 7, he was 7, bro. I remember, bro. He was an FSU quarterback.
It's ridiculous.
Oh.
And that's the thing. I'm seeing the same, all this praise for Lamar Jackson. Nobody had Lamar Jackson as their number one quarterback. Everybody had Lamar Jackson at, okay, 80% of the people I saw, all the draft respondents, no matter what it was on NBC, Pro Football Talk, NFL, ESPN, Bleacher Report, whatever you want. Lamar Jackson was at best 3. On most places, 4. He was always behind fucking Josh Allen. How? If they have the same deficiencies, but one has a fucking Heisman Trophy, the other one was at Wyoming, why are you not going to give him the chance?
Here's the hilarious part, too. Lamar is a better passer and runner than Josh. He's better than both of the things. Like they're both the similar quarterbacks, but he's the better version. The better and blacker version.
That's the crazy part.
But yeah, I was about to say that if it really came down to rankings, and one quarterback was from Wyoming, and the other one is coming from Louisville, who has been in the past a top 25 team, in the college rankings, and then Wyoming. Like, why would you pick the guy from Wyoming?
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm not saying they can't, because apparently Appalachian State's number 25 now in the rankings, but it just, these guys get paid. They get fucking paid.
They get paid to do this. They get paid to be this wrong. Nobody deserves credit. Nobody gets to fucking talk shit about Lamar Jackson. The Ravens don't even get to do that. The Ravens didn't even draft Lamar Jackson with their first pick in the first round. They got the fucking tight end, who's not even the best tight end on the team right now. That's who they took over Lamar Jackson, bro.
Oh, he's not even on the team anymore?
No. They drafted Hayden Hurst. Yeah, but he's not the best tight end on the team right now.
Right. Andrews is.
You know what I'm saying? So that just lets you know. You know what I'm saying? Before I do move on and get to the next point, I want to go back to the Mitch thing, though. The reason why we do get to make fun of the Bears, specifically Ryan Pace, of his decision, because he made it his effort to draft Mitch Trubisky. He wanted Mitch Trubisky for whatever reason. I should have known that he didn't understand quarterbacks because he gave Mike Glennon $40 million the year before. So he showed that he didn't know what the fuck he was doing when it came to picking quarterbacks. But he wanted Mitch Trubisky so bad that he hid information from his own coaching staff as far as what he was going to do, his selection and everything like that. He didn't even have dinner with Deshaun Watson before the draft. He had dinner with Patrick Mahomes and Mitch Trubisky. He made it an effort to not get Deshaun Watson. That's why he deserves to be the laughing stock in fucking Chicago right now.
Bro, how could anyone who watches ACC quarterbacks see? I granted Deshaun his second year was he looked a little Jameis-ish, throwing a lot of picks. He threw a lot of picks his second year, bro. That year they won the championship. But my nigga, how could you watch Mr. Trubisky at Carolina and you watch fucking Deshaun Watson at Clemson and think that Mitch is better? I just don't know.
You can't.
I mean, personally,
you can't. But as I just showed you, I gave you 5 people off the top of my head that did.
Absolutely.
You feel me? And that's why I want to go ahead and move the conversation. But before I do that, like I said, I don't blame the Bears for picking Mr. Trubisky. I blame Ryan Pace for making it for being that determined to want Mitch Trubisky. And hopefully that doesn't happen with your team, Rod. You know what I'm saying? And this portion is going to be the Tank Wars update. You are in a position where, like we said on the last pod, Tua's hurt. You're in no man's fucking land now, dog. You got to pray to get a guy that has no actual intangibles or, not intangibles, but no actual physical gifts in Joe Burrow, or you got a guy with physical gifts but doesn't really know how to play quarterback in Justin Herbert, dog. The floor is yours, Rod, for the Tank Wars update, bro. How's it looking right now? You just coming off a loss against the Browns, which is what you're supposed to do. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
And the Browns kicked our ass pretty good. The Bengals are still leading though, which is concerning to me. But I would prefer Joe Burrow because I'm always going to go for the passer over the guy with the potential and the tools. But the problem here's the thing though, when you look at and we were talking about this pre-show, we could draft whoever the fuck we want. We could draft the next fucking Dan Marino. If the organization is terrible, bro, if we have not fixed that part of it, if Brian Flores is not the guy, it's not gonna work. Because you know what's funny? I heard a guy on the radio today when I was coming home from a job, and he was talking about how, the Dolphins fucked up. Yo, we should have drafted Lamar Jackson. But I'm listening to this guy, and I'm thinking to myself, just because if we draft Lamar Jackson doesn't mean he's going to be good.
Yeah, you guys don't have Greg Roman.
Exactly. We don't have Greg Roman. We don't have the credibility that John Harbaugh has built, the structure, the winning culture that they have. We don't have that. Sometimes that there are quarterbacks who have been picked in history. Like, for example, that Texans guy who got killed, David Carr. We don't know how good he could have been, bro. This nigga, they let that man get killed behind that offensive line. And I'm sure there are quarterbacks such as who's a good example? Rich Gannon, for example. Early in his career, he didn't fit anywhere he went. But then he went to the Raiders, became that. Is he a Hall of Famer?
He has been a finalist.
He's in the running.
He's in the running. But that,
you know what I'm saying?
That just speaks to your point.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, regardless of whether we get Herbert, Joe Burrow, even if Tua wasn't hurt, would we have the culture? Would we have the competence to be able to develop a quarterback? Because honestly, to this day, I still think Tannehill could have been a better quarterback. I mean, he's looking decent with the Titans. He is what he is. He never would have been special, but he could have been better if he was in a better structural situation. Every year, this nigga, bro, we went 8-8. We went 8-8 every year with a terrible offensive line. There was one year we gave up 60 plus sacks, and we still went 8-8. Our best receiver, Brian Hartline, had 2,000-yard seasons with us, bro. Brian fucking Hartline, who no one even knows anymore.
As crazy as this sounds, like the way you break it down now, like Ryan Tannehill's Tom Brady, man. Experiencing it live, I was a part of the people who's like, bro, you're never going to win with Ryan Tannehill. Like, I listen to the radio down here. Like, we live in South Florida, so we got the full Ryan Tannehill experience. And you know me, before I got Red Zone, all I could do was watch the Dolphins. So I watched them as much as you have, damn near, bro.
Right.
So, but now that you explain it, Brian Hartline was his best receiver, dog.
Bro, 2 years he was a 1,000-yard receiver, bro. Brian Hartline, he then went to the Browns as their slot guy and disappeared. Imagine that, bro. That's who he was thrown to. Like, he was not put, and then we got Mike Wallace, who did not fit with us.
Who never looked good outside of being a Steeler.
Never. So at the end of the day, it's like, you could draft a player, but you also have to put him in position to succeed. And that is where my concern is with the Dolphins. That was my concern with the tank war from the beginning, is we could tank as bad as we can, but are we gonna be able to build a winning culture? Is Brian Flores the guy? I don't know, because we're tanking this year. We don't know what his coaching style. We traded away some of our best players to start the season. We already waved the white flag before the year was over. Before the year even began. You know what I mean? So, but I
want to ask you two quick questions before we move on.
What's up?
One, do you have what are your thoughts on whatever value Josh Rosen presents? Because the team has less talent than when how do I say this? It's basically, Off-Rip is a bad team.
Right.
But Ryan Fitzpatrick's garbage ass is functioning in it. So do you think you have any kind of fucking value to Josh Rosen now, bro?
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. The early performances didn't really impress me too much. If he could be the guy, like put it like this, because Tua was hurt. Like, let's say for example, we finish like third or something, and then the quarterbacks we want are off the board, and we end up going a different route. Like, I wouldn't mind running with Rosen next year to see what he has. He's still a young quarterback. Like, the Dolphins aren't going to be good anytime soon, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not in any rush. I just want to see. I just want to see progress. Not even just from certain players. I want to see progress as an organization. Like, I want to see growth. Like how we've seen organizations like the Rams. Like the Rams were, people forget now, but they were a trash organization when they were St. Louis Rams. Nigga, no one gave a fuck about the St. Louis Rams. Now everyone's talking about LA Rams. We're still talking about them, and their quarterback hasn't thrown a fucking touchdown in a month. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just want to see us, because if we build the culture, it's more sustainable. The Ravens have been good. Listen, no one's the Patriots. We can't expect that from anybody. But the Ravens have had a sustainable culture. The Saints have had a sustainable culture. I was going to say the Falcons, but I can't really say that. But it's a hard thing to find, but I want something close to that. I want a respectable culture at least. Like, there are teams that are on that way, like the Chiefs. Andy Reid always has a respectable culture. Like, that's all I'm looking for, bro. I just want to see us turn the corner, not even with just players, but as an organization.
And the fact that you named all those teams, bro, those teams just draft well, don't have to tank, and still keep a tradition, bro. Like, the Chiefs did not tank, and they got a generational quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, dog. Like, what are the fucking odds, bro? That's not fair at some point, bro.
They never have high draft position. They're always in the bottom because they make the playoffs every year.
Same thing with the fucking Packers, bro. Did not tank, got a generational quarterback after a generational quarterback retired, bro.
Yeah, it really comes down to your point, Rod, that it's not even so much as a winning culture. It's just like, well, it is a winning culture, but it's just a functional culture, and to be consistent in your general manager and in your coaching staff. I mean, you could have have Tom Brady could have gone to any of the other 31 teams, but if you guys churn out head coaches once every year, every 2 years. How are you going to get it as a quarterback, no less, the most important position? How are you going to get into a rhythm? Oh shit, I got to spend all off season trying to learn this new offense, and then what's going to happen the next season? The guy has one bad season, and then he's thrown away as a shit first round pick, and the coach gets moved, and then that's it. You start all over from the beginning, and then it's just a constant. You're in the doldrums of the entire league.
Listen, man, bad teams, bad franchises, bad cultures regurgitate crap. That's what they do, because longevity, consistency, those are things that you want to build on a franchise, and for any football team, that's what you want to see. Not all consistency is good. The Cowboys can attest to that. The Bengals who had Marvin Lewis for what, 16, 17 years. He never won a playoff game. Like, you got to know when to cut the cord, but I don't know. I want to see some consistency. If Brian Flores is going to be the guy, let's keep the nigga for 4 or 5 years. Let's see if he can build something with this nigga.
I mean, and
listen, man, we're tanking this year.
Oh, for sure. You did say something that really, really, really struck a chord with me, man. You inspired me, man. You said regurgitating crap. I don't know if you did, but that's just to paraphrase you. And I think that's the best way to talk about these 5 performances that regurgitated some of the worst crap of the weekend.
Smooth move.
And you know what I'm talking about, Rod.
We are talking about
you're the worst. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, Jared Goff, the $110 million man. He got thoroughly outclassed on the field with somebody who's been in the league 2 years later than he has. And while his team was getting demolished, all he had to offer was 2 picks and a 23.3 QBR or quarterback rating. Coming in at number 4, Derek Carr. That boy had a game. Wow. He was so bad he didn't even get to finish it.
He got benched in the
But
third quarter.
in his brief moment of clarity to be the quarterback of the Raiders, he did provide 127 yards. He did complete less than 60% of his passes. He did have a less than 5 yards per attempt. He did not throw a touchdown, but of course he did give the ball to the other team as well. Coming in at number 3, this one brings great glee to my soul. Carson Wentz. This man had 256 yards passing on 45 attempts, my friend. He gave up the ball 2 times plus 2, which means he gave up the ball 4 times, bruh. In a relatively close game that if he had the extra 4 possessions, they probably could have won. But he sucks. So that's not how it happens. Coming in at number 2, this one caught me off off guard. I didn't think I would ever see one of the GOATs this high on the list, but anybody could get it, bruh.
Anybody.
We don't spare nobody. Josh, your boy was really bad, Josh. His name is Aaron Rodgers or AA Ron, if you want to know. Huh? This is the second time. Crazy. One of the GOAT. Tom Brady ain't never been on this list twice. Never happened to Tom Brady, Josh. But let me explain why AA Ron got on the list. Because when you play like this, you're not Aaron. You're AA Ron. He had 33 attempts to only get 104 yards passing. And he had the worst of his career, 3.2 yards per attempt.
Bro, that is some putrid shit.
That is Ryan Finley-esque. That is Brandon Allen-esque or esque. And speaking of Brandon Allen, he's number 1. Coming in at number 1, Brandon Allen. The only way you could outdo AA Ron for the number 1 spot is if you raise his 104 by matching it with a 82 yards passing in the whole game, having 40% completion rate in the game, topping his yards per attempt of Aaron Rodgers 3.2 with a magical 3.3, no touchdowns and a pick, and the worst QBR of the entire weekend with all starting quarterbacks. So Brandon Allen, by the way, he only completed 10 passes, but we're not going to talk about that. So Brandon Allen, you're the worst QB of the week. All right, man. And you know how we do. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break and get right back to it. All right. And we are back. What next?
Like I said.
Soliman.
How's it going?
All right, so this portion of the show is going to be the preview portion. Now, trust me, we didn't think we were going to take an hour to get here, but there was so much shit that we had to talk about. So this episode ran a little longer, but we had fun. So hopefully you guys enjoy it too. But we had to close the book on week 12 and look forward to week 13. We decided to just run with 3 games of importance. Like, there was a lot of games, but I feel like these games matter for a bunch of different reasons. You have a potential Super Bowl preview with the 49ers and the Ravens. That literally could be the Super Bowl. So that makes that game twice as important because both teams are going to get film on each other in that game. And we do have the other game, Patriots, Texans,
Huge AFC showdown.
I want to see if the Texans could actually beat the fucking Patriots when it fucking matters. Yeah. And this game matters.
It's big time. This will tell us a lot about both of these.
This will tell us a lot about both teams. And then this game isn't really that big as far as there's obviously better teams and teams that matter more. However, this game is huge for one team involved, the fucking Browns, the last team that we're going to talk about. This is basically the division, this game right here, or whatnot. Like, this is literally the division. So shout out to all our Steelers fans, Matt, Justin, Matt, the other Matts, all of y'all. This one is for you. So I was like, let me talk about that for them too. So Rod, you do have the most important game of the weekend, 49ers, Ravens. What you got for me?
Standing tall in the red corner, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They have a home record of 5-1, an away record of 5-0. So they haven't lost on the road. They're road warriors.
Body shots.
These niggas are second in points scored. They are second in points allowed on defense. They are seventh in turnover differential, which is +6. They have the second ranked rushing defense, the first ranked passing defense. My nigga. These niggas are about that life.
They are definitely about that fucking life, dude.
In the blue corner, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Home record 4-1. Away record 5-1. They have the number 1 scoring offense.
Oh my God.
They have the number 5 in points allowed in defense. These niggas have the 4th best takeaway differential, +8. These niggas have the first rushing offense. We talked about it, 210 yards a game.
That's absurd.
These niggas have the 3rd rushing defense, which they only allow 87 rush yards a game. So, bro, when you look at this matchup, these two teams are closely related together, bro. Defensively, both top 5 in defense, both tops in offense. We are literally looking at the 2 most complete teams in football. And the irony of these teams is that they both do the same thing very well. They both play great fucking defense, and they both run the ball exceptionally better than anybody else. The difference is how they do it. And we get to see a contrast of 2 drastically different coaching styles. We get to see this modernized West Coast-ish offense that we have with Kyle Shanahan versus this new Kaepernick-based offense with Greg Roman. Because remember, he was the guy who ran Kaepernick offense before. We have the Lamar Jackson offense. So now we're going to see. I mean, when you look at this game, bro, I don't even know where to go with this game because on one end, the Ravens have been so dominant lately. We've seen the 49ers are 10-1, but they haven't looked as good as the Ravens have all year. Like, if you look at all their performances in totality, like, who would you say has looked better throughout the year? I would say the Ravens. If you look at the competition, who have the 49ers played? Okay, they thrashed the Packers. Who else have they thrashed? That matters. They lost to the
Ravens
Seahawks.
definitely have looked more dominant. Like, once that enigma, which was the Browns game, which is, hey, it's a division game, bro. Who knows how to play the team like that better than a team in their own division? Outside of that, bro, they dominated fools, bro. Like, if it's like who has the better resume, like if we do a basketball, who got the most, who beat the best teams, bro? This is what the Ravens are doing, dog. Like, how they're not the number one in power rankings, that does not make sense, but that's another day. But like you said, this is a I'm gonna look, it's the Spider-Man pointing at each other fucking game, bro.
Like, yeah.
It's the Spider-Man meme, bro. That's literally what this game is.
For my anime fans, it's Ippo versus Sendo. For my regular boxing fans, it's Foreman versus Frazier. Like, it's 2 powerhouse motherfuckers, it's 2 power punchers going head to head. And that's, to me, I'm kind of like, I like good defense and running game. Like, I'm an old school football guy.
Oh, no.
Oh, you good?
Okay.
Okay, good. We thought Saul had something to say, but Saul is just, he's just pouring his telepathy into my head and speaking for him. Oh, he's doing, hey, don't do it. You can't show people. It's not a video podcast.
It's more for us.
Right. But nah, man, I don't know
Theater
about
of the
you guys.
mind, right? Theater of the mind.
Theater of the mind. Shout out to Ludacris. So, but yeah, man, fucking, I don't know. You couldn't ask for a better late season matchup, bro. You have 2 of the most exciting teams we've watched all year. We get to see one of the best O-lines of football against one of the best D-lines. Like, every matchup, every storyline you could ask for is in this. We get to see what's Jimmy G gonna look like against the top 5 defense for real. What can the 49ers finally put a stop to this madness to Lamar Jackson? It's just beautiful.
All right, so prediction time. Who do you like and why?
I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens. Number 1, they're at home. And they maybe it's my bias as a Dolphin fan because these niggas have beat the dog shit out of us. They have beat us like a piñata time and time again. But the Ravens are nasty at home. I think their defense is going to overwhelm because, bro, the one thing that the 49ers do well, that's one thing that their defense is better at stopping the rush than it is stopping the pass in terms of the Ravens. And if they can stop the run, Jimmy G's gonna have to win this game. I don't think Matt Breida and Tevin Coleman and those guys are gonna win this game. And I don't think when you pair Jimmy G versus the Ravens defense as opposed to Lamar versus the Niners defense, I think Lamar has the edge and he's home. I'm going to give it to him.
I'll go the same way. I'll take the Ravens over the 49ers just for the simple fact, like you said, Rod, it's going to come down to Jimmy G. You can't be a dominant rushing team and then not know how to stop opposing rushing teams, you know? Can Jimmy G throw the ball to Deebo Samuel or George Kittle or Emmanuel Sanders against Marlon Humphrey, Earl Thomas, and Marcus Peters? I don't know. So I'm taking the Ravens.
It's one of those games where because a lot of people are gonna take the Ravens, like I'm just like football might happen, bruh. But I think both aren't. I don't think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a good game, but it's gonna be a great ugly game. That's what I mean to say. It won't be a bunch of splash plays and stuff like that, but this game is going to be so interesting and such on a needle thread. Like one play is going to open everything up. I think that play is going to be Jimmy G throwing a pick to fucking Marcus Peters, bro. I really do, bro. Or Humphreys, dog. Because I really think that their D-line, the 49ers, is so fucking good that they have the speed and the athleticism to bother Lamar. And they have the back end that is a bend but don't break back end. However, the Ravens got the same thing. Where they're not as good as a D-line, they're a better secondary, bro. So that's it. And I do think the secondary is going to be the MVP of the game. So I do like the Ravens as well. Next game on the bucket, Patriots and Texans.
Yes, we have the Patriots traveling to Houston to face the Texans.
That fucking matters.
Yeah, that really doesn't matter.
Fucking Bill O'Brien.
The offenses for both teams are kind of the same. The Texans are within the top 10, except in passing yards, they're 12th. We know about the Patriots offense. We talked about it. As for defense, again, we talked about the Patriots defense. They're actually top 1 and 2, and then rushing, stopping the rush, they're number 9. And then the Texans defense, it's not the same when JJ Watt's not there. So they're kind of middling towards the middle towards the end of the league. But the storyline for this game is the young gun, Deshaun Watson, taking on the elder statesman in Tom Brady. And these two have met in the playoffs years back. Can Deshaun Watson finally beat Tom Brady? I don't know if that happens.
If it doesn't happen now, it'll never happen, bro. Like, the offense for the Patriots is so bad, bro. And they've been fortunate to not have to play any good offensive teams. I mean, I thought they played one, the Cowboys. I was clearly wrong. But if the fucking Texans don't do it this week, bro, they'll never beat the fucking Patriots when it matters to beat the Patriots, dog.
And the thing is, if you look at like all the passing offenses that the Patriots defense is going to play this year, they have one of the better passing offenses. You got D-Hop, who's one of the best 2-3 receivers in football, and then Will Fuller was back. He's not hurt again, right? Like I feel like this nigga's hurt every time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Shoulder. But they have their 2 best receivers. Their offensive line. The one thing the Patriots don't have is a pass rush. Like their pass rush is not stellar at all. But man, that back 7, bro. It's like I don't know what this nigga Bill Belichick does, bro. Does this nigga just not sleep, bro? Does he eat like pills that make up for sleep or something? Like I just don't understand this nigga, bro. Like niggas are always where they're supposed to be. It's so annoying.
It's honestly, it just doesn't even make sense, dog. Like it's almost impossible to be this technically sound. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. If I'm not listening to our own podcast, I mean, that's the narcissist in me, obviously. But I say that to say this. Chris Long, former Patriot, former Eagle. He's been on a bunch of teams. I forgot the first team that he got drafted to, but whatever. That doesn't matter. That doesn't
Rams.
the Rams.
St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, right? But I bring him up to say this. He said when he played with the Patriots, it was the first time that he was on a team that had a coach who could coach every single position better than his own position coaches could, bro. This man could coach the quarterbacks. Bill Belichick could coach the running backs. Bill Belichick could coach the special teams. Bill Belichick could coach the O-line. Bill Belichick could coach the D-line. Bill Belichick could coach the cornerbacks. It's ridiculous.
That's what you want in a head coach. You want your head coach to be better than all of your other coaches.
And that's why he brought it up, because he had the experience of playing with so many different teams. He realized that there are a bunch of teams with a bunch of bad coaches that are teaching positions that they shouldn't be teaching. 2, they're just bad coaches. You know what I'm saying? It's not the norm. There's offensive coaches who just know how to deal with the offensive side. There's defensive coaches who know how to deal with the defensive side. Then you have the fucking piece of shit that Bill Belichick is, and his brilliance is that he's coaching everything, which is why they've been dominant for 20 fucking years.
Bill Belichick is a unicorn. And if you look, there's a lot of teams where, like, for example, a coordinator, like, perfect example, we just talked about him, Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan left the Falcons, and their offense has been in shambles.
Ever since.
Bill Belichick, what happens to his coordinators when they leave? Josh McDaniels had a stint in Denver. How'd that go?
Josh McDaniels is such a fucking offensive genius that he thought it was smart enough to draft Tim Tebow in the first round, bro. That's the type of people that he has to rein in check, dog. Somebody who thought it'd be a good offensive-minded coach thought, I want Tim Tebow. That's the kind of stupidity that he has to rein in, bro. Like, that's like Charlie Weiss. Charlie Weiss got paid to go away from Notre Dame, bro. That's the type of shit that he had to deal with in mask and just gave people fucking titles. But it's like, you're here. Just do something. Just do something. I'll tell you what to do, and I'll give you the fucking game plan, and you just read off the sheet that I created for you, bro.
Bro, that's why when we were going to hire Flores, man, I was just thinking to myself, oh my God, we just have another Belichick retread. Just like, you know, because a lot of the guys who go off, Romeo Crennel, like, he left, and God, man, he's forever a defensive coordinator now. That man cannot be a head coach. You know what I mean? And there's, you know, Bill O'Brien is probably the one guy from the Belichick coaching tree that
he's the best guy from the Belichick coaching tree, and he's only been mediocre.
Exactly. He's fortunate he lasted long enough to get his quarterback. That's really what it is. But yeah, man, fuck Belichick. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but fuck him.
I'll rein it back in. Basically, I was just saying, I was just want to give shout out to Belichick, but we do want to talk about the game. So, do you think that the Texans can take advantage of how bad the offense, a struggling offense? Because all they got to do is make 2 fucking plays, bro. If you get 14 points, it's really hard for the fucking Patriots to get 15 right now. Just get 14, bro. Just get fucking 14 points.
Bro, Tom Brady has like, what, 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games? Like, this is not this is not your daddy's Tom Brady. This is the old man Tom Brady. And I don't want people who, because, you know, Tom Brady's probably been catching a lot of flack. I don't want people listening to this podcast thinking we're just going to, he still has that mind of his. He's still able to just he doesn't lose the games for him, and that means he's not completely washed. You know what I'm saying? So, this to me, and I'm just going to be honest, I just don't, there's no excuse for the Texans to lose this game, bro. You're home, you're against the Patriots, their defense is going to cause some problems, but Deshaun Watson, damn it, if you're who we say you are, if you are who we thought you are, like Denny Green said, you gotta take this one. The Texans have to win this one.
They have to win this game.
Yeah, Texans have to win this game. Like you said, Rod, DeAndre Hopkins playing, Will Fuller playing, Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson are playing. Not the best running backs, but against the Patriots defensive line, they'll be able to get it done. And then Deshaun Watson, who can just throw the ball like crazy, makes magic happen, can also run. That's going to be another big factor. If they could get all that shit in line, I think the Texans win this.
I want the Texans to win this. I don't have no dog in this fight, bro. I'm not an AFC East fan. I'm not an AFC South hater. You know what I'm saying? I have no dog in this fight. I just want these guys to win for their own fucking sanity, bro. Like, if you do not beat this fucking Patriots team, when will you beat them? If Bill O'Brien can't beat him with Deshaun Watson, he will never beat Bill Belichick, ever. You might as well fire him after the game, bro. Just tell that nigga go home, dog. So I'm picking the fucking Texans just because you only need 14 points to beat this fucking Patriots team right now, dude.
But on the other end, their defense allows like 12 points a game or something ridiculous.
That's why I said you need 14, man.
Like,
you need 14, bro. You would need at least, matter of fact, 17, bro, because for whatever reason, Tom Brady, and I'm just giving, I'm no evidence supports this season. I'm just giving him his due. He'll get fucking 15 or 16 or whatever, dog.
Like, he'll go above that benchmark just to prove niggas wrong.
Just to prove niggas wrong, dog. And let's go ahead and close the show with the last game, hands down the least important game, but it is important for different reasons. It is an AFC North showdown. It is for all the fucking marbles. Browns, Steelers, it feels like they just played because they just fucking played. And last time they fucking played, they had a fucking brawl. Last time they played, Mason Rudolph got his fucking head hit with a goddamn fucking helmet.
Bro.
Last time they played, Myles Garrett was a member of the Cleveland Browns, bro.
Like,
a lot
bro,
happened.
That whole situation is such a shit show.
Bro, a lot happened in 2 fucking weeks, bro. Like, the Browns are going up. The fucking Steelers are going where they should have been from the get-go. And they've been saved by a bunch of fucking fluke turnovers. But it is still an important game. It's important because not so much for the Steelers, because the Steelers weren't expected to be here anyway. The Browns were. The Browns have to win this game. Part of me wants to see the world burn, which means the Browns be bad. But for the greater good of football, I would rather have the Browns win this game and win the fucking division, dog. Like, as much as there are a bunch of guys that you just don't like, not including fucking Odell, the hate that Odell gets is bullshit, but you just want to see Baker shut the fuck up. My compassion for what the Browns fans deserve overrides that, dog. 1989 is the last time the Steelers were home underdogs against the Browns, bro.
That was the year niggas was born.
I might be older than that season because I was born in July.
Right,
so yes,
too. We're older than that.
We're
season.
older, but that's 30
hair.
by a hair. 30 fucking years, bro. But 30 years, bro. I was alive for 2 months. Or 2 or 3 months or whatever. The last time the Steelers were an underdog against at
Who's
home.
the quarterback? Brandon Crozar was probably the quarterback, wasn't he, for the Browns then?
Maybe. It had to be.
Because I remember I used to watch a lot of Dolphins fans' life is very depressing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I watched a lot. I watched a lot of our best games, and there's a game it's probably still on YouTube in the '86 playoffs, wild card Browns versus the Dolphins. Great game.
That sounds bad. It was probably a good game, but
right now in today's context.
In today's context, yeah.
But back then, Kozar versus Marino,
that's the shit.
Was a
nigga,
matchup.
That's like fucking Tom Brady versus damn near Peyton or something, dog.
Right,
in that context. But just hearing those two names now,
that's how long ago.
Yes, that's how long ago. But another thing, to see something that's older than us, because this was 1988, would be the first time that the Browns swept the Steelers in a season, 1988. Now, granted, we do have to provide context. The Browns did move, and they went on to become the fucking Baltimore Ravens, which is a much better fucking team, obviously. But that's just to provide context to that. I do want to say that the reason why the Browns are looking good is because Baker's not turning over the ball anymore, bro. On their 3-game winning streak, bro, they're averaging 380 yards a game. Baker's completing 65% of his passes. He has a 7-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and he only has 1 fucking fumble. So they should win. When Baker is good and Baker is not trying to be the best version of Brett Favre, they're a decent fucking team, dog.
I mean, bro, you look at all the talent they have on that team. They still have Odell Beckham. They have Nick Chubb, who's been having a hell of a year. Like, bro, I'm looking at like their like,
Nick Chubb already has 1,000 yards rushing, bro.
Bro, these niggas are 17th in passing yards per game. They have way more talent.
They do have way more talent than that, and you got to understand, a lot of that comes off of beating a team like the Dolphins, bro, where they had over 400 yards of offense.
Imagine
beating
the Jets 23-3. You know what I'm saying?
So they got to feast off of bad teams and pad their stats, but they shouldn't have to pad their stats. Like going back to the game last week, the Steelers could have won that game. Mason Rudolph was just so impossibly bad that he overrided all the momentum that they could have ever had.
Wait, he threw like 4 picks?
He threw 4 picks in a game where until he threw a pick six, it was 14-7.
The pick six sealed the game.
His pick six sealed the game. But just look at this, bro. Look at this matchup. First down, Steelers to Browns. Steelers had 18, Browns had 17. Passing first down, they both had 10. Rushing first downs, Steelers had 3, Browns had 6. The game was won on turnovers. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to play Mason Rudolph this time. They're playing the Duck.
The Duck champ.
The Duck champ. So the teams are obviously evenly matched. They don't have to play Mason Rudolph. If the Duck is just average, they could win the fucking game. With this quote unquote fake ass winning streak that the Browns are on. The Browns are just being bad teams, bro. And Baker has only been able to beat bad teams.
Right, his whole career.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the fucking Steelers win. I want the Browns to win, but if the next week Steelers show that they won the game, that's not going to surprise me, dog, because the game was so even last time they played, and it was on the road.
I mean, and the thing too, the Browns, man, like this is it for them, bro. They like we talked about how the Texans in our last segment with them. We talked about how the Texans needed to win. These niggas need to win this game.
They have to win this game.
Like as a matter of fact, the Browns are basically they already have 6 losses. They're in playoff mode. Like the AFC isn't like some great conference, but
AFC North is not going to get 2 teams.
Right. It's not going to get. You got to win your division.
The only person is who wins the division.
Right. So and the Ravens are 9-2. So y'all got a lot of work to do.
Oh shit, I'm tripping. I'm so bruh, my bad. Oh, that changes everything. I just remembered why do we even have this conversation? My bad, y'all. The Steelers and Browns have no chance to win the division. I forgot about the Ravens. That was just a waste of.
But they can still make the wild card.
They can still make the wild card. Okay, this is for the wild card.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think either of this team going to make the wild card because I think because the Titans already beat the Browns, so they have the tiebreaker.
They'd have to hope that the Titans collapse.
Yeah.
Tannehill, that's possible.
I'm sorry, guys. This has no bearing. This doesn't mean anything. I just wasted 10 minutes of your life. I'm so sorry if you made it to this portion. So you could just skip this whole thing. But before we do leave, let's go ahead and preview the Thursday night games just real quick. I mean, Thursday game, Thanksgiving. You got them up, Saul?
The first one is going to be Chicago Bears at Detroit.
What's the spread on that?
It's -3 for the Bears.
I'll take the Bears. Fuck it.
I'll take the Lions. Fuck the Bears.
Damn, y'all leave me to be the tiebreaker.
Go ahead and be the tiebreaker, bro.
I mean, this is like picking between fucking diarrhea and vomit, bro. It's terrible, but Jeff Driscoll versus Mr. Trubisky.
That is. Bro, the NFL has to get that off of fucking prime time, bro. Because it's Thanksgiving, so every game is prime time, bro. They have to get that shit out of there, bro.
I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna go with the Bears just because their defense is slightly better. I don't really know why. The Lions just have the worst luck, bro, and I'm just gonna chalk it up to that, despite how awful.
All right, next game, the 4:00 game.
The 4:30 game is the Buffalo Bills against the Dallas Cowboys.
And
the spread is -7 for the Cowboys.
How are we a 7-point favorite against the fucking Bills after what we just did, bro?
Maybe they're just basing their opinion just because it's the fucking Bills.
I am picking the Cowboys to win the game, but I am picking the Bills to cover that 7. Like, the Cowboys don't get that kind of respect from me because if you have more wins than losses, we do not put up that much points, as evidenced by Rod's homeboy who sent him that fucking picture.
What were you gonna say?
I picked the Cowboys to win, but I do pick the Bills to cover.
I'll pick the Cowboys to win, but it'll be a disappointing win.
Actually, this one was a tough one for me because I think this could be the first winning team y'all beat this year because the Bills are the most flawed out of all the winning teams y'all have played. No, I won't say it doesn't matter because I mean Josh Allen is not Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen is decent at what he does, right? Like he's an average passer. He can run the ball pretty decently, but he ain't Lamar. I think y'all can beat that, man. I think y'all are gonna win that game. I don't think y'all cover though. I wouldn't bet that spread. I think it's gonna be a close game because the Bills defense is gonna. That defense, bro, is legit, bro. If they had like a better quarterback than Josh Allen, we might be talking about them like we talk about the Ravens.
And just another line of good defenses straddled with mediocre quarterbacks.
No, bro, it's like the Buffalo defense is like fucking nasty, bro. Like I feel they're a division rival, and I'm talking about them like this. Like,
of course,
we have two great defenses in our division. Imagine.
That's terrible.
Yep.
All right, in the last game.
Last game is the Saints at the Falcons. Saints have the -7.
Didn't the Falcons just beat the shit out of the fucking Saints? They were a 10-point underdog and they beat them by fucking 17. So I'm gonna take the Falcons to cover. I think the Saints are gonna win because it's hard to beat a division rival twice unless that team is really bad. But I'll take the Falcons to cover.
I'll take the Saints to win. I guess I'm not going to take the Falcons to cover.
Oh, okay. All right. You think they're going to get their ass stomped? That's cool.
Yeah. Not stomped, but, 2 touchdowns,
Is the game in New Orleans? The game's in Atlanta. And is New Orleans -7? The division games are tough, bro. That's a game I wouldn't even put my money on that. But I'm gonna go with the Saints to win, and I don't think they're gonna cover. I think it'll be a lot closer than last time. I just have that feeling.
All right, man. That was a good episode. See everybody next week. Hopefully these games go out the way we planned it. Hopefully the Cowboys show up. Hopefully the Patriots implode, but that's never going to happen. I will say it's time for us to check out. This your boy Herb.
It's your boy RodMan signing out.
This is Saul saying peace out to all the homies and shalomies.
Deuces.